We done started the live. You get my mama's phone on there.
Don't talk to people any kind of way. We all know that when you look this way, what might be happening.
I don't see it on here.
Hey,
so
y'all.
oh, yeah.
We're waiting for a few people to come on here before we start. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? What's up? What up? What up? Hey.
There's one person that's mom.
We're waiting for people to come on here. Hey, Candace.
When they look this way, they looking at me.
I think we got it together this time. We just need our followers, to come on. We said 2 o'clock, and
Here we are.
here we are, 2 o'clock, and we ready. We ready to start rolling. Hey. Hey, y'all.
We can see that,
the
Mom. Thank
notifications
you.
right here.
Now be
We don't
quiet
want your help.
sitting over there.
Don't you?
That's the only stipulation.
Come
that
on,
you're
come
gonna
over
be
here.
Okay, what is it?
We're gonna start at 2:02. We're waiting for y'all to get on the live before we start. And then we're gonna go ahead and, how everybody doing today?
Get
How
them
y'all doing?
numbers up. Get them numbers up.
If you're not on here when we start, you can just catch it and listen to it later on. Cause it's your nap time. Candace, nap time is not right now, okay?
Ain't.
All right, it's 2:02.
Never would have made it. Never could have made it without you.
Yes.
I would
Never
have
lost it all. All of it.
But now I see
Here we go with the foolery.
How you were there for me, and I can say, oh, hey, Ratchet, moody, nasty. Ah, what happened? Moody, nasty. Yeah. What's happening? I'm a savage.
What up, y'all?
What up?
Thank y'all for tuning into the second episode of the Righteous
And the Ratchet
Podcast. I'm Danielle and I'm Righteous.
And I'm Jasmine, and y'all already know from the last show what side I'm on.
Shaking my head, okay? We just want to start with a few disclaimers. The first of which is these topics are hot and sizzling,
Okay?
And the ratchet side may have a couple of things to say that may not be so appeasing to your ear. So if that applies to you, it's your time and we'll holler at
You at a different time, spot, day, whatever.
Number two, do not call our mother
Do
What's
not,
your name?
do not call my mama.
You gotta say
or my grandma
Don't call my grandma.
about the things that we have to talk about.
Okay?
These are hot topics for grown-ups.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Number 3.
3.
What was number 3?
I can't even remember. I don't know.
But anyway,
you know,
like, follow, and share our page.
please.
We'll be on here weekly with the zhuzheries, okay? We're going to have a conversation every week. Today, you tuned into Boosie or not Boosie.
Okay.
The parenting edition.
The parenting edition.
Have mercy. Strap your seatbelt in, because we about to take off.
We about to take off.
All right.
I do want to give a special shout out to DJ. Yep, that's her for,
Hey.
for the ones and twos.
Thank you, DJ.
Thank you, DJ ones and twos. I said DJ ones and twos, y'all. Look at me.
Shaking my head.
DJ, yep, that's her. We appreciate you for mixing it up for us.
We do appreciate you. A little never would have made it into a little savage.
I'm saying
Mhm.
that Ratchet, Boosie, nasty. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So as y'all know that there are always a lot of kids in public. They may not even be the same color as us, but there are a lot of diverse
That was a
kids.
little shade, y'all. The little not same color.
I'm just saying. But they are always in public. And these kids, like when you go in public, all the black people always tell their kids, don't touch nothing when we go in the store.
At all.
But then you got those kids who still want to touch it. You got these kids that always be throwing their body on the floor. You got these kids that, just have a hard time listening.
Need their head not clean
Yeah,
out.
I was one of them kids.
She was.
You know what? Don't.
She was.
We're not going to get into me, though.
Y'all already can tell.
We're not even going to get into
She
that.
was dramatic.
But I was one of them kids. So my first question to my sister is, how do you discipline your children?
My children are a different kind of breed. I subscribe to the old school mentality. I do a lot of, threatening. You gonna get a whooping. I'm gonna knock your head off your body. I enforce authority.
Head off the body.
I enforce authority so that I don't have to use it consistently. My kids understand that I mean business when I mean business. When I have to raise my voice, when I raise it to another level up here, they know I mean business. And it can get real, it can get real rowdy around my place.
Well, let me go ahead and say this because I don't believe in whooping kids.
She don't.
But I do believe in hollering the fear at a God in my child. I will raise my voice so loud and I will holler so goddamn loud. I'm sorry, y'all.
God damn, we just started.
I said I wasn't going to holler.
Oh, Lord.
But I believe in hollering the fear of God into my child. I don't believe in whoopings because why would you even want to put your child in pain? Why would you want to inflict pain into a child just in order for them to understand when really communication, when communicating with your children, you could do better. I think it just helps better when you communicate with your child instead of, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to whoop you, and, doing all that extra stuff. I just don't believe in that kind
Well,
of stuff.
that's her belief. However, I don't have to do very much actual whooping. My children have probably gotten no whoopings from me this whole entire year or last year. I don't have to do the whooping because they know when I talk to them, I mean business. The threatening is so that they get to a place where they're like, okay, I'm at my limit. My mama about to go there. My children know that I love them and they know that they get punishment. I take things away from them. And that works way better for me than actually having to whoop them. Me raising my voice and telling them how disappointed I am in them works way better than me actually having to whoop them. So my parenting has definitely evolved. Now, when Aria was a baby, I would definitely pop her little hand and tell her no, because that teaches her, I don't want you to do that thing. And so 9 times out of 10, she didn't go back to that thing. It's the same principle like telling somebody fat meat is greasy or the stove is hot. They're not going to believe.
I like fat meat.
She does like fat meat.
I like flat or fat.
You know what? She was not about to throw shade.
She throws shade because I say my ass is fat all the time.
It's flat.
My ass
I tell her to put the L in there. Flat.
Ass fat.
Not
Yeah,
fat.
I know.
No, thank you. It's
Anyways,
not.
fat ass.
But it's the same principle as telling somebody fat meat is greasy or the stove is hot. 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna believe you until they in the situation where they done touched the stove and now their hand is burnt, or where they have to actually get into the principle of, I'm telling you I'm going to go off on you and you just going to keep on tempting me. But then when I go off on you, you'll know now because I done had to go off on you.
Okay, so since we're talking about that, how do you feel, so how do you discipline them in public? Like, is embarrassment okay? Like, you yelling at them in public and you trying to whip their butt in public, is that okay?
Absolutely not. That's why you condition them when you're at home. What they do at home is what they will do out in public. If they test you and cuss you out and slap their lips and throw their neck back, my sister was one of them. And throw their neck back at you. In private, they gonna do it in public. If they press your buttons in private, they will do it in public. That's why you condition them. Not necessarily that you beat them or beat them down or anything like that, but you give them expectations and tell them, look, you did this. I don't like this because of this. Let me redirect you and show you this. This is a better way to do it. So that me and you can be on the same page.
Well, let me
My
tell you
children
something.
don't. We get in the store and I tell them before we get out the car, I'm real old school. Don't ask me for nothing in this store. Yeah?
That kind of scared me.
Be scared. Be very afraid.
I'm not asking for nothing if I'm going to the store with her. Do you hear me? But I
But
can't-
9 times out of 10, we get in the store and I buy them something because Penelope is the one, Mom, can I?
You know, in her eyes just bad like this. Mommy, can I have? Anyways, but I am a firm believer that you come in this world as a child and you leave this world as a child.
You don't even know that.
I'm sick of her. There she goes over there, Candace. You didn't hear? You know that. So what I believe is that you don't want me to come to the nursing home beating your ass in front of Grandpa Fred
Have mercy.
and Auntie Ella because of the stuff that you did to me. You feel what I'm saying? So do unto others. Ain't that what the Bible say? Do unto others as you'll have them do unto me.
But the Bible also says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Him?
We're not
My
talking about
children-
car parts here.
What?
Spare a rod.
The rod of correction.
Oh.
That's what that's talking about, not a car ride. Bro, what in the world? No, that's why you teach your children and instill in them that the way they present themselves is should be the way they want to be represented in the world. Which means all the way from the top of your head to the sole of your feet. If you want to get up and be raggedy and wrinkly,
I still owe my mama a few licks.
I wish you would try. I wish you would try.
I owe her a straight elbow. Y'all, I got into a wreck. Well, somebody had gotten into a wreck in my mama's truck, and she embarrassed me in front of them police. She went up there and slapped me with a newspaper upside my head.
Right upside
I
of
owe her big time.
Right upside of
Straight boom.
And I walked all the way up the hill with a bag.
Mama, this is not the time for you on the
My
show.
mama, I owe
Y'all
my
please
mama.
excuse her.
Listen, I'm telling you now, them kids is calculating and
Candace said, I got beat and I'm okay.
these kids is remembering all them licks y'all used to give them. They gonna whoop y'all ass when y'all get older.
Yes.
They gonna whoop y'all. That's what I'm telling you. Y'all better stop beating on these kids.
No, my children wouldn't do that.
They gonna beat your neck up.
My neck? No, they not gonna do that.
They
My
gonna beat
children,
your.
they know, my kids know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I love them. When I have to fuss, they cry because I have to fuss. They don't like when I have to fuss. Aria, do you like when I have to fuss? No. They don't like when I have to fuss. They don't like when I have to raise my voice. Or
And when I
tell
said
them,
that they gonna beat your neck up, I looked over there. Aria said,
no, she did.
"They gonna beat your neck up." Anyways, let's move on. So, I got a real sensitive question. This is real sensitive. So, no, you got to go. You gonna have to. So this is a real sensitive question right here, y'all.
Trying to see y'all.
So, what do you do if your child tells you that they like the same gender?
Linda trying to get.
I'm gonna take a deep breath before I answer that one, okay? Woosah. Okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. As a parent, you have a level of responsibility to your child to steer them in the right direction. When a child is in the formative ages, they are still getting to know themselves. They're still understanding society and societal norms. They are still understanding the constructions of family and what those mean. They're still understanding and getting to know barriers, and they're not even at the place where they're learning what pleasure means to them.
Shit.
Or they're not even at the place where they're getting to know those constructs yet. It is important not only that you, as a parent, steer your children in the right direction, but that you also listen to them. They could be communicating something totally different that appears as an attraction to the same gender. You have no idea. So first of all, my thought process is listen to what they have to say. 2, understand what they have to say, because listening and understanding what they're saying are 2 different things. listen to what they have to say, understand what they have to say, then you need to pray.
So you're
Before
going to
you
pray
talk
the
to
gay
them-
up out of them.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying before you talk to them and after you understand what they're saying, you need to pray. Because that's a very sensitive subject. It's a very touchy ground.
Listen.
The conversation
Listen.
of homosexuality. But overall, I have the capability to separate a person's choices from who they are. I have several friends and family members who may be homosexual. Because I don't agree with their choice doesn't mean that I don't love them. I absolutely love many of people who choose that lifestyle. However, if we're talking about my child, we're in a different realm. So you need to pray, you need to listen to them, understand what they're saying, and then
Pray the gay
figure
up
out
of
how to guide them. I would never throw my children away.
Well,
regardless
let
of
me
what their
say
choice
this. If my child wants to bump coochies, then I'm going to accept whatever decision that she makes. Like, I'm not going to sit
Not
here and...
bump coochies.
If she want to bump coochies, that's just her decision. That's what she is deciding that she wants to do. And that is, I'm going to support her. I mean, because I've had thoughts myself, you know, about swimming in the coochie lane. I'm just saying.
In the coochie lane? What does that mean?
That's
I'm just saying, like, I've had thoughts of being in the coochie lane.
Not the coochie lane.
Swimming in the ocean, you know. But, you know, I had these dreams that I had a bad sex partner and her stuff smelled like fish, and then I just come back to it. So, like, it's levels to this. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I had thought about being with a girl, and then, like, I woke up the next morning, like, sweating and shit, because the dream was about the girl who had sauerkraut pussy. Like, I just...
Sauerkraut? Wait, oh my God.
My stomach, like, is too weak. It's too weak for that kind of shit. So...
Oh my God.
My stomach is just way too weak. Like, I just... And then I got... For some reason,
Marilyn said, bitch, bump coochies.
for some reason, it's just like, every time I make a post about something, here come my mama, here come my auntie. Oh, we need to pray about it. Oh, we gonna pray the devil up
I'm
out
going
of
to
it.
get my Bible.
You need to... I can't even get drunk without being prayed for. I'm so... You know what? Maybe I do need prayer, but let me go back to the subject. If my child decides that she want to bump coochies, then I'm going to
Can we exchange the phrase
Yeah.
bump coochies?
Bump
Jesus.
coochies.
Can we say something else? God of
Bump
America.
hat pass. What you
Oh,
bump
pat
asses?
pass.
What you
Pat
want?
Ass.
We call it pat pat.
Bump pat pass, bump asses, whatever you want to call it.
Jasmine.
You know, I'm just saying. Let's move on because we did say the Boosie or not the Boosie. So y'all, everybody's been hearing about Boosie, right? So Boosie paid to have his son and his nephew's dick sucked at around the age of 12. And I quote, this is what Boosie said. This ain't me. This is what Boosie said.
Pause. I told y'all strap your seatbelt on.
This is what Boosie said. I feel like I'm on ABC News because I'm reporting. Okay? He says, I'm training these boys right. He says, I'm training these boys right. He repeated that twice. Because, you know, he got some kind of, you know, shit be repeating in his head. He said, ask any of my nephews. Ask any of them. Ask my son. Yeah, when he was 12 or 13, and they couldn't even remember the age, they got head. He said, that's how it's supposed to be. Hell yeah, I got my effing son's DICK sucked. You effing right. That is what Boosie said.
So what do you think about what Boosie said?
I'm going to tell you how I feel.
Oh, she adjusting and carrying on y'all.
Listen.
Whew.
We just lost.
I feel like exposure to things will help your children mature. I feel like exposure to things will open their mindset. When you try to shelter your kids away from things, it makes them want to go out and do it even more.
So at 12 and
Listen
13,
to me, all you church girls on this line.
Whoa.
Your daddies is preachers, your daddies is deacons, your mamas is choir directors. All that. Guess what happens when you get older? Y'all be trying to bounce on dicks as soon as you
Don't
can.
say it. Don't say that.
Y'all be trying to get out there and experience life because you've been so sheltered, you've been so covered from all of the things that are out there in the world. So what Boosie did is, hell, the dude is 12 years old. Let me tell you something. At Pierce Middle School,
Bro, no.
Pierce Middle School, these girls was getting, they would They were pregnant. Pierce Middle School.
Here your
They were
niece
pregnant.
right here.
And you want to know why? And I'm not even going to say it's just to shelter kids, because even the people that be running wild,
Why do you keep pointing that pin at me? I ain't sheltered, and my children ain't sheltered either.
even the people that was out there running wild, they be getting pregnant too, so we can't even put them in a bucket.
Holy Ghost.
I'm just saying.
So at 12 and 13, you think it's acceptable?
His dick may not be, it may not be fully developed. It may be a little shrimp, but he still needs to experience that. And
12 and 13.
let me tell you, it's 3-year-olds out here playing with their little thingy, walking around the house. It's 3-year-olds out here doing it.
That is a part of discovery. At
Discover
3-year-olds,
the
you're
hole.
figuring.
You discovering the hole.
Oh. Now, let me. Okay. Whew.
Man, we got all
I gotta take a whole deep breath because whew, she took me real fast right there. I was not ready. Okay. Let me say this.
Boosie for president. Boosie next president.
That's so stupid.
Let me say this.
They call me badass. And I punish you. Boosie.
Let me say this. I believe in educating.
Wait a minute, because Candy said the problem is that he got grown women to do it. So you want him to hire another 12-year-old to do it?
At 12 and 13, you should not be having your head or whatever you want to call it sucked on.
First of all, you
So
can't
as-
work in the state of Texas till you 15. If this girl is getting paid for it, she got to be over 15. Point taken. Rest my case. Go ahead and talk.
She need to go to jail. And so do his dad.
You can't work until the age of
Because
15.
those babies are minors. They are minors. And the reality is this.
So much
I'm
for
not
men.
saying shelter your children. I'm also not saying keep them away from sex or having the conversation with them. What I am saying is educate them so that if at 12 or 13 they happen to have their first experience, they're educated. Because what happens when people are not educated? You get AIDS, you get HIV, you get syphilis, you get gonorrhea, you end up pregnant. It's a multitude of things that happen when you're not educated. That's the problem. See, and I believe that all the way across the board, from school to church to homes. We don't educate our children on the matters
But
that
people
matter
is
the
getting
most.
bumped in the ass at the age of 30.
But you know what? You're going to get bumped in your ass at the age of 30 because you ain't educated. If you was educated at 12 and 13, maybe you still getting poked in the butt, but you ain't got no bumps. Yeah?
What? Bumps.
I don't know how we got on bumps.
Okay? You have to educate, we have to educate our children. Not just educate them, but talk to them. 9 times out of 10, if a kid is talking or thinking about having sexual activities, they're going to talk to somebody that they trust. They have to have somebody that they trust. So instead of us as parents, as aunties, as friends, as just people that know kids and have those kind of interactions, instead of us turning a blind eye, I agree with you there. Instead of us turning a blind eye, we should educate, communicate, listen. Because what happens when you don't have education? Bible
Get
says
bumped
the
in your
people.
ass, I guess.
The Bible says the people.
The Bible says, train up your man in the way that he shall go, and when he gets smart, he will not depart.
Auntie Glenda says no. It's too crazy out here. Their men cannot handle that. Plus, they need to wait. Thanks, Danielle.
She just read that comment because she seen things day
Pastor Deshaun Freeman says bumps. Have mercy.
Bumps
Oh.
in your... Listen what I'm telling you.
Listen, and I mean the reality is this, and I'm not gonna put my sister on Front Street,
Here, read
but
mine.
she
Go
definitely.
ahead and put me on Front Street. I
No,
know
I'm
I
just
was out there bumping.
She was humping.
I was out there humping in cars.
She was
bumping
humping
up
in my
windows.
car.
But
I'm
listen
not gonna,
to me.
you know.
I studied that.
Jazz, you better stop lying before I hit you.
And
She's not lying. She was humping. She
I was
humping.
fogging up all the windows.
She
you
was
You can't tell me nothing about me.
Y'all
humping.
better stop it. Act like
Do you
I'm a
hear me?
bad
And I got in trouble because she was humping. She was
Listen,
humping.
the next episode is gonna be about how to ride it. I'm just saying.
The devil, we ain't talking about that.
No, ma'am. Y'all gonna be out in the barn.
Mama, be quiet.
You better leave my
You are a
purse.
visitor here. Okay?
I am
That's
not.
our sponsor. Our sponsor just don't know how to be quiet.
I'm not in my own.
That's our
house.
sponsor.
Oh,
Read-
my
read
goodness.
what I wrote.
That conversation took. My mother says if you start them too early, they will want it more and more.
And I wanted more and more.
Then
and
be
more.
a
I want it
pedophile.
every day.
Keep
They
on
won't be a
reading it.
pedophile But I agree.
I want
If
it
you
every
start them
day.
too early, what happens is you kickstart a desire
I'm
that
starting to get
children
hot
are not
thinking
ready
about
for.
it.
And once you kickstart that desire that a child is not ready for, they turn to things like porn.
Oh, shit, I'm hot.
They turn to things like sneaking.
I like porn.
They
I
turn
like
to things.
sneaking. It make my adrenaline
Jasmine,
rush.
hush. Let her finish
Would you
reading.
be quiet?
Finish saying
Y'all remember
that.
when
They turn to things like
Just take
porn.
it over.
They
I like
turn to
porn.
things like
More.
really unhealthy addictions. Is what
Toxic.
happens.
I like toxic.
And
Doing other
if it's
kids.
not sexual, they end up turning to things like drugs
Oh, no, I'm not doing
or
drugs.
alcohol
I'm
to
not-
numb the pain.
I will
It is
drink.
important that as kids are in that adolescence, she is a fool. Do you hear me? It is important that as kids are in that adolescent stage, they feel like they have a level of respect, but also a connection to the people that are in their lives. And if I have a connection to you, I'm more apt to.
She sucked a nigga so. Gotta catch up.
I cannot stand her.
Y'all better tell the truth.
If a child has a deeper connection to you and they feel like they can trust you, they'll come to you and talk to you. You won't have to wonder what they're thinking because they will come to you and talk to you. What I can say about my childhood, we used to have what were they called? GMAs at our church. And my mama used to be in there all the time. My mama, Miss Daryl and Tamara Fletcher. It was a lot of women in that class. And what they taught was the connection between the younger generation and the older generation. And how those two generations should be more closely connected so that way the younger people can learn from the older people. Unfortunately, you don't have no more GMAs. You don't have no more organizations like that in today's society. You don't have people or older people. I mean, I'm willing to do it. I'm just not a part of anything. I haven't thought about putting anything like that together. But you just don't have that connection anymore.
I don't
So
have
now-
no old ass
You're not
people.
going to be a part, Jasmine.
I don't have no old ass people
Yeah,
I can look
all
up
that-
to except for my mama. Because everybody flawed. Everybody gonna go through what
That's
they
facts.
go through.
That's
and,
facts.
and you can't tell, you know what I can't stand? Is when somebody tell me how to be in a relationship that's single. I'm done. I can't stand it. You're not gonna tell me nothing that you
Absolutely.
Don't tell me.
Absolutely.
Don't tell me to live my life right and you don't been out here doing drugs on 12th Street. Don't tell me not to fight and you done already had your fights. Because I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight. Talk about it later. What? Okay, we done got off track. Back to
No,
Boosie.
let me comment on that little piece before we go back. I agree. I totally agree. There should be people in
Because it's
leadership.
the people that's messed up, that dressed up, that's messed up.
But you know what? I'm
I
your
said it
big
last
sister.
show.
But I'm your big sister, and I'm married, and my relationship may not be perfect, but it is exemplary. And when you need advice, don't you call me?
I do.
Same kind of relationship. Same type of relationship. There should be women and men, not just women, because there are always women in these fields or women that are active or women that are playing the mentor role. There should be more men to step up and be like, bro, this is what you do with your little Johnson when you get ready. Let me show you how to wrap it up. Let me show you blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to have those kind of connections with the younger and the older generation so that way that conversation can be had. I'm not saying don't have it. I'm also not saying ignore the urge or act like the urge ain't there or act holier than now. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we need to educate and communicate. Two things, educate and communicate.
So since you're talking about
we can-
educate, when do you educate your kids about the birds and the bees? You know, I never understood birds and bees. Like, what the hell is a bird gonna do with a bee? It's gonna sting it, poke it? Where do people come up with these saying birds and bees and why do people associate the birds and the bees with the nasty? Ratchet, bougie, and nasty. My bad, I be having little spurts of the moment.
I think she got Tourette's. I think
So when is it acceptable?
Crazy.
When is it acceptable to talk to your kids about the birds and the bees, the honey? When talk.
The people are saying it's time to get real. Message. They laughing. Mama, hush. We see all y'all comments.
Nobody better not tell
You hush.
The birds
This is
and the
not your
bees.
show.
Because at this point, I'm in love with basketball. You know, it didn't make no sense. for me to
None
say that.
at
I don't even know why I just even said that.
I'm so confused.
Because she fought for her love. Don't spare your love in basketball, baby.
What? I'm lost. How do we go from The Birds and the Bees to Love and Basketball.
I don't know, that song just
Oh,
reminds me of
my
Love and Basketball.
goodness.
It give me Love and Basketball vibes. You see what I'm saying?
What
like
song
she
gives you Love and Basketball? What?
I don't know. Y'all remember when she had on that like that?
We are not talking about Love and Basketball. Okay.
And then they knocked on the window and she like went up it. I know, right?
Y'all don't encourage her foolery, okay?
I don't
We're going back
take
to
meds, Auntie Blue.
when.
I don't take meds. But you know, I got PTSD though. Ever since I've been punched in my damn head at Midtown. Ever since I got punched inside of my damn head at Midtown.
Pause. We going back to the conversation.
That's why I be doing these spurts and shit. Because somebody punched me.
She
in my
said,
head.
when is a good time to have the Birds and the Bees conversation? Adolescence, which means once your child hits puberty and starts experiencing the change, or
When is
once
puberty?
they come to you,
When you get a bump on your forehead?
you got to shut up or get out.
What is puberty? Like when you start having periods, because people
Absolutely.
they having periods in third grade.
But again, it goes back to what I said.
You
If you have a connection with your child, they'll come to you and say, I'm having this urge. And then you have a conversation. Having that conversation needs to be case by case, parent by parent, choice by choice. It's not, you got to have it at 9, you got to have it at 11 or 12. It's not one of those things. I don't believe that at all. It's a case by case, situation by situation choice. Because if your child is a little bit more advanced than my child, then you should have already had a conversation with them.
My child is advanced, and she is the.
Don't talk about my niece like that.
She is an advanced version of me. Like she is so proper, but she will tell you off in a minute. She tells you exactly how she feels. Like she tells me all the time, "Mama, you are so wrong for that." And I be looking at her like, we are not friends. I'm your mama. Let me make bad decisions on my own. Let me make my decisions. Okay? I'm just saying. Don't sit here and try to be my mama. Because I'm the mama. I'm the mama. I'm the mama.
So this is new age parenting.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying, she got a lot of sense.
I got
she's
a lot
a
of
great
sense.
mother.
I got bachelor of arts in education. Don't play me.
I helped her get that, by the way.
Here she goes. She always trying to take credit for stuff. I'm sick of that.
I wrote papers, didn't I?
My name was on the degree, not me, you ain't
Hey,
mama.
no, mine and yours need to be on the degree because I wrote papers.
You got your own degree.
And some
That's your own
First,
stuff.
let me write first.
Shaking my head. Anyway, she is an amazing mom. My niece is amazing, but they have a different kind of relationship than I have with my children. And I go back to my point. It is case by case. If you feel like your child is advanced enough to have that conversation, let me just tell you why. I have an 11-year-old, Aria. I wouldn't leave her at home with her siblings yet because she's not ready for that. She's afraid of everything.
No brother-in-law.
She hear a knock on the door and she goes bonkers. Like, Mom, what's going on? Like,
She's
I
scary.
got
I can't
ready.
stand that shit. She at the age where she needs to be watching these things and earning some clout.
I wouldn't. But there are some 11-year-olds who are latchkey kids. And that's the reality
And they
of
earn
our society.
clothes and they cook breakfast and good
That's
crispy
the
bacon.
reality. So those type of kids will be ready for that conversation. My child may not be ready for that conversation. But you have to have that connection with your kids so that you know, like, it's the same principle. Sex, drugs, alcohol, porn. It's the same kind. Dating. It's all the same principle. When your child is ready, it's your job as a parent to make sure you're responsible enough to educate and communicate. Talk to them jokers. Because the reality is a lot of times kids have more insight, can see things clearer than sometimes adults do. So it's case by case.
Now, y'all, it's getting hot outside. It's stepdaddy season. Do the stepdaddy.
Devin says it depends on the maturity of the child. I totally agree.
Do the stepdaddy.
Freddie says my name needs to be on the degree
Do the
too.
stepdaddy. I said no, brother-in-law. Do the stepdaddy. Y'all, it's stepdaddy season, so I got.
Crystal says, no fam, not new age, just jazz parenting.
Don't do that to me, friend. Crystal, don't do that.
Yes,
Friend.
do that.
I thought
do
we were
that.
friends.
Do that because this child here, y'all, she calls me every morning with something foolish and she starts a conversation off with, so I was thinking.
I think a lot. You know, I got this big old head for a reason. But anyway, y'all, it's stepdaddy season. Stepdaddy. For all the single people, it's stepdaddy season. And I got just one question. At what point are you supposed to introduce the person that you're dealing with to your child?
When you know what you got going on. Don't just be introducing your children to every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Definitely not going to introduce her to Dick, but maybe Tom. Maybe Tom and Jerry. Maybe Tom and Jerry.
No, I say that for real, loosely, because if you don't know what you're doing with him, she shouldn't know him.
I know what I'm doing with him.
I'm just. What you doing with him? Humping him?
Bouncing on it, maybe. Backing it up. That daddy season. So whenever you feel like you know what you're doing with
Yeah,
him.
Nadia said when it's solid. Brad
What
said,
does solid mean?
Brad says parents need to be open to what their children feel, regardless of parental religious beliefs. Brad, I couldn't agree with you more. Because a lot of times what happens, because I believe something and what my child wants or desires clashes with what I believe, I disapprove it, which causes sneaking. That's what the child will sneak to do. Then you have to deal with what happens on the back
Sneaking
end.
and freaking.
So it's absolute. I totally agree with you, Brad. You have got to be open to your children to communicate and educate. I agree. Devin says never quickly. That's something you ease into. I agree, because the reality is, if I don't know what I'm doing with them, this ain't me, because I'm absolutely married. But if I don't know what I'm doing with them, my child shouldn't know him at all. Like, point in case, my husband and I were dating. My daughter was 3. She didn't meet him until she was a little after 3, when he and I knew where we were going. When he and I knew that this is, okay, we ain't finna walk away from each other, this is what we finna do, this is where we going, that's when she met him. And then you allow your child to form a bond with that person. Don't force it, because when you force it, of course, it's not genuine. Then you got kids who want to grow up and kill their stepdaddy because they hated him all their life. Shaking my head. What kind of foolishness? Wow. Auntie Glenda says the day before the wedding. Why, Auntie Glenda? Why that late?
Auntie Glenda, ain't nobody got time. You've been with the same man since you was 2. We're not listening to you, Auntie Glenda.
Why that late, Auntie Glenda? That's Glenda Goodman in the comments.
That's my Auntie
our
Glenda.
auntie.
Just old.
The day before the wedding. I mean, I could see that, but I think they would need a little bit more time to bond. But I'd love to hear what your train of thought is, Auntie Glenda. Go ahead and message us in the comments. What's your next question? I got a question. I don't really have a question.
I got a question.
See what she was gonna say.
When you start thinking. No.
Mom says not everybody in your bed, only when it is going somewhere. Not everyone. Devin
We
says
are going
these
somewhere.
days.
We're going to the San Antonio Zoo.
All right, to the zoo.
See the monkeys and shit.
Not the
A drive-through zoo. Y'all know they got a drive-through movie theater out in
Round Rock. They do. Devin says these days you have to be careful because a mate will put on a front and want nothing but your booty. Whoa.
Ooh, I like him doing my booty.
Not the booty.
I'm just playing.
What in the what? Not the booty. Holy Ghost.
Holy God.
What is your next question? She
My
wrote
last,
down questions, y'all. So
my
we trying to
last
go back
question is, what is an acceptable age for your children to start dating?
92.
Dating.
92?
Yeah.
1 foot in the grave. 2
That's
foot
good.
in the
Sounds good to
grave.
me. No, serious answer though. When I know my kid is responsible enough to handle her life first, then she can date. Handle your life means
Stay at home by yourself and watch these kids.
That's your responsibility.
handle your life means you can clean up your room, you can get good grades and be responsible at school.
Listen, y'all, my
You
niece
can-
is the same size as me. And
What
it's
that's
time for
supposed to
her
mean?
to start watching these kids.
She didn't have, that's your responsibility.
That girl needs to be she needs to be watching these kids, cooking
No.
and baking and stuff.
And you
I don't know.
need to be letting
Darlene
them
says
stay home.
15.
15. I
Devin
say
says
that.
never. Auntie Glenda says 16. Letitia and Mama say 17.
I say 15. I'm with you. I say 15 too. What was your age? Because I didn't hear you say one. When she responsible
When
for
she
herself. That's
responsible
gonna
for
be at
herself.
the age of 45.
The devil is a lie. You got to get up out of my house and go to school. Mm-mm.
Got to get up out.
You got to go. You got to go. You got to
Y'all,
move.
listen, we wrapping it up here because these gonna be 30-minute segments and we already over. We did want to stop and pause and shout out our mama. She's our sponsor. We wouldn't be. I mean, we'll be at somebody else's house, but we chose her house because she knows she got little decorative skills. We also want to shout out. We also want to shout out BJDL Academic Excellent Resources. Listen, it's the summertime. Your kids were in quarantine all this time. They dumber because y'all schoolhouse.
Say what it did for y'all.
Be quiet. I'm getting there.
Don't say what be
She
quiet.
make me not even want to shout her out.
Say what you don't. Say what.
So she can help with your kids if they need tutoring. She not gonna be tutoring, but she'll find somebody that's acceptable to tutor your children. If you need to reach her, she has a phone number 512-721-9951. You can also reach her at Lady B Johnson at sbcglobal.net. We want to shout out our mama because without her, we wouldn't be two different people. You know, we came from all my life I had to fight. No, I'm playing. I'm just playing, y'all.
Jump back college tours.
I didn't have to fight, but I did fight. Everybody already know that about me, but I changed. Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, for change. So we gonna rock out with y'all. Dan, you got your last word before I play the music?
No last words. We'll be here every Saturday. So look out. Go like, follow, and share our page so that way we can get the conversation going. We can have a Righteous and Ratchet podcast and keep it moving. We'll see y'all next
Rock
Saturday.
out with us.
Hey.
Never
Look at Dusty, what Keisha said.
without you. Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. All of it. Listen to this song, y'all. And for everybody, don't leave yet. Y'all gotta hear this from DJ Yep, That's Her.
Hey, hey.
Sassy.
Yeah.
Stupid.
What's happening?
Bitch, I'm a savage. Moody. Nasty. Oh.
That one right there kills me.